All right. Hopefully we can get the viewers back on. Every time that we talk about things like this, for some reason, we have all of these technical difficulties. So hopefully everyone can see this live again and hop back on it so we can continue this build. If not, we'll have to do it another time. I hate how Facebook be doing that. It seems like Kween Katt and I gonna have to do our builds offline and then upload it to online, because it's just making it complicated. Rise, everybody. Rise. Hope everybody's well. How y'all doing this rise? Trying to finish having this build. I was just having a build with Kween Katt, and it's just, I don't know why. Every time we try to talk about serious things like this, the internet gets janky. We're just in the middle of conversing, and here we go. Rise, everybody. Bless Dutch. Bless Dutch. Bless Teresa. Yeah, we still here. We still here. We're going to try it again. We're going to try it again. We still here. As soon as I see her up, I'll bring her on. Rise Basil. Rise Lamika. Rise Juan. Yeah, teaching truth will get you technical difficulties. You're absolutely right, Charles Orlando. Charles Orlando. My bad. Yeah, you're right. You got to be careful out here. Just trying to educate, just trying to inform, that's all. I was watching and I'm open to another understanding. That's beautiful, Millennia. We all should be. The only thing that hurts our growth is our lack of knowledge, right? We perish for lack of knowledge. Your knowledge, truth will make you free. It don't mean truth will feel good. It don't mean you'll like the truth. It don't mean you'd rather have the lie, but the truth will make you free indeed, family. You understand? The truth is you can't pray for things to happen. The truth is you got to get up and do it. Now, listen, that's an uncomfortable truth because we'd rather just pray for things to happen. But the reason you've just been made free is because I told you the truth, whether you like it or not. And if you put that into work, you will find that your dreams will be manifested. Your prayers will be manifested because you stopped talking and started doing. You guys ever hear of the Tower of Babel? The Tower of Babel, where people began to talk and were utterly confused and couldn't understand each other's languages? That's what we are. We are Towers of Babel. We believe that to manifest, you have to talk, like we have magic coming out of our mouths, right? But your body is the magic vessel, is the magic wand. It is what creates your manifestations. It is what materializes your destiny, family. You must stop talking and you must start doing. So one of the things that religion has done is it taught us to pray to God. Pray to God. Pray to God. Ask God for what you want God to do, and God will do it for you. The logic in that is senseless. God did not give you a body, a vessel, okay, made in his physical image so you can ask him to do things for you. Do you understand that? Your voice is not what connects you to God. It is your doing, family, your action. It speaks louder than words. Do you understand? So get off of your knees and stop praying and start doing. Religion teaches you that it has to be God's will. So God has to will it for you to get it. He has to want you to have this, right? And in order for you to have it, it must be in God's will and in God's timing. So you'll ask God for it. And your thoughts are, if I don't have it, it must be that God don't want me to have it. Guess what? Whatever you want in life, you're supposed to go get it. There's nobody stopping you. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. There's nobody stopping you, right? You do know that there is no villains coming to stop the heroes, and there's no heroes coming to stop the villains, right? Manifestation works regardless of what your intent is, regardless of your soul, your spirit. You do not have to be a good person. You just have to do the action. And that's what it means to reign on the just and the unjust. If you do the action, you will have the result. If you set out to do evil, and you are willing to do evil, not just speak it, you will have evil, family. Did you know this? I don't have to even want to do good. I can manifest whatever I want, good or bad. I just got to be willing to do it. and accept the consequences of it. Everything is about sacrifice. So whatever you want in your life, get off of your knees and get to doing whatever you want. I promise you, if you want that house, find out what it takes to get that house. Earn the money, build the credit, and I promise you, there is no God in your way stopping you. You are the only God that's in your way, your lack of effort. The religion, it has you confused, that has you going about things in the wrong way. There are rituals that you have in place that literally have your brain handicapped to where you cannot move forward. The rituals inside of your religion is what holds you back. Your religion tells you, go to the same place every single day, talk about these things in this book that happened a long time ago and get excited about it. Reality is, if you want to change your life, you must look to the future and be diligent about the future, doing whatever it takes to get to that future, taking the steps you need to take, not reflecting on the past. The past, honestly, does not exist. That is a figment of your imagination. You are remembering it. Remember, putting back together again. To put back together again is to remember, right? So you are going back in your mind, thinking of something of past ages and being excited about it. Please tell me how that helps your future family. So every week we go to a place and hear about God doing something for this person in that place. But what is God doing for you today? So instead, church should change its rituals. It should change its religion. You should go to church not to hear about the past, but to focus on your future. Focus on the future of the community and what must be done to create this future. Your rituals are jacked up because we go to church saying, God, clean up my territory. God, heal us from diseases. Did you know that God is you? That God has already given you healing? What if I told you your vessel is a healer? Your body is constantly healing you. Its job is to heal. Did you know that? Your body is the devil and God. It is supposed to break down and heal. And it's constantly doing both. The reason you are being sick is because you are continuously poisoning your body and you are not allowing it to heal. So you saying, God, heal my body. I'm sick. I'm sick with diabetes. I'm sick with this and that. God is saying, change your diet. Your body will do all of that. Your body will heal you of diabetes. Your body will cure your cancer. You just got to change your diet and stop putting cancer and diabetes in your body. But your preacher ain't going to tell you that. They're going to use religion to keep you believing that you got to pay your tithes in order to have it pressed down, shaken together, and running over, when the Bible does not tell you to pay your tithes. So the religion, you're deceived through your own religion. That's why I say you got to reinvent yourself after religion, because it's not about if what you believe in, the God of your beliefs, is true. What is true 100% is that you're being deceived by your belief system. And the religion that they're giving you, the religare, which religion means religare. It comes from a word that means religare, using etymology, meaning the word was originally religare. And what religare literally means is to bind or tie up. Today we call that word religare religion. So what you have is your religion is binding your mind up. You could have more, but you have religion. Does this make sense? If you don't believe that you can heal your own body, ask yourself this question, because what I speak, it will vibrate inside of you, family. Trust me. You know it's truth when you hear it. Have you ever been cut? Yes, right? How did your wounds heal? Did you need a Band-Aid to heal your wound? No, right? Your body began to heal itself on its own. Do you know why? Your body is a healer. Did you know that? If you break your bone, did the cast heal your bone? No. Your bone began to heal on its own. Whether you put the bone back in place or not, it'll heal wrong. But you're constantly healing, family. So if you're in a place where you're saying, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, you got to ask yourself, what am I contributing to my own sickness? Because you are a healer. Yeah, great. Kween Katt is back. Let's do this. Are a healer through and through. Conversation with us, because this is not just about waking up to a new frame of intellect or understanding a new form of knowledge. It's really about getting free in our communities and making our world around us a better place through understanding what we are capable of without religion, right? So I'm sitting here, I'm telling the people about, how religion has distorted us, and through religion we don't have what we need in our families, We have what we need in our personal lives, and we're really just being breadcrumbed because of religion. And truthfully, if we knew exactly how to go out and make our dreams come true, we wouldn't set up under a man telling us what God has to say about us. You understand? We are divinely connected to whatever you call God, whatever name you want to give that, and you don't need a book to teach you God. These things are, in fact, man-made. And so you have to ask yourself, would a God, a truly spiritual being that's divinely connected to you, would it need to give you books outside of yourself to understand it better, or even yourself better? Or is it more true that humans wrote these books, sometimes likely maybe being connected to a higher source, but most of the time, literally, it's made up of rulers going in and robbing and pillaging other countries and cities, saying that it was God's doing. So really what you're seeing is people putting in this book their excuses for rampaging. And it's, you know what I mean? So when we look in the Bible, we're like, oh, God sent this man into this land and helped him win war. And it tells you, keep all the women and kill the women who are not a virgin, and kill all the men. Like, this is not God, right? This is more like men using God to rape and pillage. You see what I'm saying? So when you grow up with religion, it's a lot of confusion to it. That's why I say step away from the book and notice and know that your book is you. It's your in its nature. So like life and study has taught me that many men have had different concepts about God. I like some more than others. Let's talk about Nut and Jeb. When you go back to Egyptian symbolism, Nut and Jeb, you're talking about heaven and earth. In their concept, earth was a man, not a woman. You see what I'm saying? So we've always had concepts of divine beings outside of us, whether it be symbolic or not. This precedes religion or Christianity or Islam or any of that. It precedes any of that. You know what I mean? So I guess I say I see a lot of people in religion of all types, not just Christianity, but they're asking serious questions. Why are my prayers not being answered? And that's why I say, my friend, it's because you have religion. Prayer is not asking God for something. Prayer is going and getting it. Prayer looks like action, right, Kat? It's not about talking. If I want to get in shape, family, prayer for me looks like a workout regimen. It looks like me being consistent and getting up every day and applying myself. It does not look like, God, please make me in shape. God, please help me lose body fat. God, please help me gain muscle. That is not how you get it. And likewise, this is the same for every single thing. But it leaves us with this big hole saying, hey, I don't have what I want from God. And it's really the lack of knowledge. You know, Kat, I'll tell you this. You know how it talks about paying tithe, giving your money to God, and God will give it back, pressed down, shaking together, and running over, right? We know that's not talking about money, but what a preacher will do is they'll twist that's talking about food and tell you it's about money. And by the time he's finished preaching, he's got you giving your money to him. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I mean by religion. They're putting you to sleep with a spell, when if they just told you the truth, your life would be changed. Now, I know in church it sounds good that if you put your money in this basket, God will replace it to you, pressed down, and running over, I know it sounds good, but see, the truth is way more simple though, right? If you give it back to God, he'll give it back to you, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. Watch how simple this is. If I plant a seed in the ground, right, giving it to God, right, I don't just get a seed back, do I? I get a plant, and that plant will give me thousands of fruit with seeds yet still in them. With each one of those seeds, they can still yield me thousands of fruit. So it's talking about harvest. It is telling you that, listen, family, you can eat all of the seeds. If you had all the sunflower seeds, you can eat them all. But a wise man knows if he eat all the sunflower seeds today, he'll starve tomorrow. So you don't eat them all today. You give some to God. 10%. If you eat it all, family, you will go hungry. So put 10% back in the earth for God. And then God will be faithful to multiply it. You see, it's food that you can eat, but you're putting it in the ground. Now you need patience and faith, right? Now, how do you believe in God? You know now that you've planted the seed, act like it.
Yes.
Don't act like you haven't planted the seed. Go out there and water the seed. You don't dig the dirt and plant the seed again. We're going to God with the same prayer every day. Same. You already asked God. I guess I got to ask him again and again and again. You think God worked like that? You think a God would? And this is what people in religion do. And this, I'm not talking about Christianity. I mean, their whole life will be stagnated because they believe they got to wait on God. When in this world, you ain't, listen, a lion does not have to wait on God to go hunt. Family, you go hunt because you know you hungry. Or you go hunt because you know you will be hungry. But you can't stop. You see what every animal in nature know this. The deer got to walk to the watering hole. Now listen, that sounds like a simple task. But do you know what that means? There's hyena, right? There's lions. So there's so many predators on the way to the watering hole. So you taking a chance just to get a sip of water, right? When you walk out to graze, when you put your head down to eat, you know, you're making yourself exposed to the enemy who walks around like a roaring lion seeking who they can devour, right? But you got to take the chances anyway, right? Because that's the only way to eat, right? That's the only way.
I want to reiterate that we're not on here bashing religion. The whole purpose is to show you that we all are similar, no matter what you believe. And we should be able to communicate and converse with each other about our ideologies. And whether we agree with it or not, that shouldn't deter us from the people. Kev and I don't believe entirely alike, but we're able to move and do business together and be friends. He enlightens me on another level, and some things I might say might enlighten him on another level. But we can come and we can reason together. So the problem with a lot of religion and how we are taught, how I was brought up, we were taught that there is no other God but mine, and you're going to hell. And we're taught that we had to convert people. And that part for me was wrong, because I, at that point, was not allowing the next person to be themselves without me trying to change them. And that messes up relationships in all areas. If I'm going to be with Kev, right? For example, Kev might require me or want me to a certain way, or he should approach me for who I am. Something about me might have drew him to me. When I get with him, either I'm going to rise to his level or he's going to sink to mine. That's why the Bible says one and two can't walk together unless they agree or don't be unequally yoked. Somewhere along the lines, we're going to agree. But at the end of the day, Kev is going to let me be me and I'm going to let Kev be Kev. And that's how we have a friendship right now. And so that's all we're saying when it comes down to religion. And I saw another guy in the comment that was asking, what does this have to do? How is this going to get us to the next level of life? Trust me, King, I get it. If you follow me, this is a new page, but if you follow who I am as a person, it's all across the board. We can't get to the root of the problem for us as a people until we get to religion, because religion is skin color for the Black people, as it is skin color for the racist people. You get what I'm saying? Religion divides us Blacks, either by, you ain't calling them, like Kev said in the last live, we either Methodist, AME, Baptist, women can't preach, women can't preach. It's so much that destroys us just in the church. So you won't come to a meeting that'll help me get to the next level in the community. See, we're gonna have a community project. A lot of people won't show up because I don't believe like them. So we can't fix something else because we can't get past, you don't believe how I believe. I can't do it. I can't work with you because you don't believe like how I believe. So until we get to that, overcoming that barrier, until we get over being able to sit down and reason together, whether you believe like how I believe or not, we have to let people be. As long as people are not trying to change you, change your mind, hurt you, hurt your children, we gotta let people be. And we have to learn to take responsibility for ourselves. At the end of the day, most people don't want to walk away from religion because they want to blame the bad things that happen in life on the devil and they don't want to take action. Like Kevin was breaking down prayer. Prayer is not sitting and asking for something. Faith without works is dead. The Bible says that, what's the scripture? God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think, according to the powers that worketh in you. So you have to do it. Praying is sitting there asking an outside source, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it Jesus, whether you call it Jehovah, whether you call him Yah, whatever it is, you still have to do the work. And a lot of people that are in religion, that are not going to the next level in life, are not moving because they're taught to wait on God. I was taught that I had to tarry. I was taught that I had to cry. I was taught that if you did not shout, meaning bodily exercise, that you didn't have it. I was taught that if you didn't seek him, and not seek him by studying, seek him by saying, and I would call, and I would call, and people are calling, and they're spitting up, and they're doing all these different things. And after they get up, what now? What next? You're not going to always feel that feeling of power and electricity going through your body. Yes, the experiences are real. We are powerful. I do believe in the laying on of the hands. I do believe in energy. If you see me in performing, you see that I use all of that. It is necessary, but there is more to it. And because of how we're taught, like, I'm not telling you the Bible is wrong. The Bible is a book of I'm losing my thought. The Bible is a book of science. And the Bible is also a book of law. So I can go in court if I know how to decipher the book. Like when they say not 3 times. If that judge asks you, what is your name? I am the agent. I am the representative for this person. Are you this person? I am the agent and representative of this person. He gonna ask you again, are you this person? I am the age. I am the representative and agent of this person. He has to accept you for who you say you are because you said it 3 times. That's law. That's your Bible. You got to know how to use the Bible, but a lot of us don't know how to use the Bible, and a lot of us study the Bible or whatever book you use to be able to attack the next person or to be able to defend yourself against something. Are you actually reading the book to learn? Are you actually reading the book to understand what it's trying to tell you, how you can apply it to life, how it is on the metaphysical level? It's more to the story. Like they said, you can get all the answers from a book, from that one book, but you have to learn how to look at it in different ways. You got to learn the scientific ways of it. You got to learn the metaphysical ways of it. You got to learn the law that the Constitution was written on it to be able to use it effectively. And if you're closed-minded, you can't get all the benefits out of that book. And then you also can't hear what a person like Kev is trying to tell you, because automatically you don't hear him because that's what you were taught. That's what they taught us at the Council of Nicaea when they said, what are we going to do? When they got these 30 bishops together in a room and decided that, hey, this is what we're going to call. Are we going to call him Jesus, or what are we going to do? Everybody going to vote? Yeah, we're going to call him this. This is what they did. This is it's not like we're making these things up. You can look it up. It's not just a Google thing. You can go in the library. Everything that this system does, they have to tell you first. They have to tell you first. Right now, they're telling you about AI first. Are you paying attention? They told you about COVID. They told you about the shot. They told you about all these things, but we weren't listening. A lot of us were just so ready to get back to our regular lives. Just give me the shot. Just give me. Just let me do. Just let me do it. Okay? So they have to tell you everything, but we have to learn to pay attention. We can't rely on just our spiritual Heavenly Father or Heavenly Mother or universe. We can't just rely on whatever it is, whatever they tell us it's going to be. That's what it is. We have to learn to pay attention, listen to what they're telling us, and come together. But the root of it starts with religion and spirituality, and us breaking those barriers and being able to reason together like the Bible says.
You're absolutely right. And that's why I started this off by saying, guys, we're perishing because of the lack of knowledge. What Kat said is right. The Bible it's past, it's law, it's the sun going through the zodiac, it's parable, it's allegory. There is truth to it. There are things that can make you deeper spiritually, elevate you spiritually. I've seen people go into prison and use the same Bible that people condemn today to elevate themselves out of criminal life. I've seen them do that with the Quran. I've seen them do this with the Bhagavad Gita. So everything I'm saying right now to validate the Bible as reading material, I can say the same for many different religious texts. So what that leads me to believe is that we are the powerful, choosing to use these books that were written by the powerful as conduits to tap into ourselves. Now, the trick is when they trick you to tap into it, to believe that it's not you. And that's where I believe we lose our power. You understand? Like, I can believe through Christ and be strengthened. I can believe through Allah and be strengthened. Anything I place my imagination on, I can draw strength from that, making me powerful. But does that mean that the item that we use as a cross truly is powerful? Or is it symbolically powerful? And therefore, it means something to us cognitively, right? The Ankh is the same way. The Ankh is a symbol made by man that we accept as a holy symbol because hey, listen, we vibrate to it. We understand what it's trying to say. It's talking about the masculine and the feminine coming together as one, and that truly being the completeness of God, because in that you get life. Nothing else gives you life until man and woman comes together. Do you realize this? So it's not saying God is man or woman. It's saying God is man and woman. God is completeness of the masculine and the feminine in harmony coming together. Only from that do you get life. Now, you can call that whatever name you want, and every religion will back this up. You understand what I'm saying? But if we take the religion and say my religion is absolutely true and yours is not, then that's where we have the division, guys. And even in the same book, hey, if I'm Methodist and you're Presbyterian, that's where we have division. When I was in church, we couldn't just go somewhere and speak. We had to be told what that church's like philosophy was based on them being Methodist. So they'll say things like, hey, when we go here, ladies, make sure that y'all wear a dress, okay? At my church, we were kind of progressive. Women could wear pants. It wasn't a big deal. They could wear open-toed shoes. It wasn't a big deal. But when we went to a different church, it was, hey, they believe you can't wear pants, so let's not go there and let our good be evil spoken of. Let's wear dresses because they believe you should wear dresses, and we don't want to go cripple their faith, right? Let's wear closed shoes. Let's not wear makeup because they're telling their people that God got a problem with makeup, with dresses, with open-toed shoes, or with pants. Why? Women shouldn't wear a man's garment. Well, in this church over here, someone else understands that scripture to mean something different. They went a little bit deeper. They noticed that the word another man's garment, they noticed that word actually meant war clothes, not garments. So they said, you know what that means is a woman should not have to go to war. So they said, women, it's okay if you wear pants. You know why? Pants are unisex. That is not a man's garment. So as you can see in your own mind is where you can see religion being shaped from. So we were brought up in different churches, whether that be a mosque or a synagogue or whatever, where it's Islam or not. But that person that you're under, you're adopting their frame of belief as your religion. And that's not safe because that's not even the Bible. You see what I'm saying? It's not even that they tell you read the Bible for yourself and get an understanding. They're saying come and get my understanding. And if you don't come to the conclusion of what I believe, you're wrong. You don't see how that cripples you? You don't see how one man telling you how to use your heavenly vessel cripples you when you are unique and your access to God is different than anybody else's. You are not supposed to use anybody else's way of communicating with a God. That is ridiculous. God is you. You're one and the same. You can't separate yourself from a God. You can only be confused about who you are and move like you don't know a God. And that's what puts you in these conditions because you have all power. You just don't know it. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes us powerful, is truly being God. But if you say that, they say, oh, you arrogant. Man, I can show you every single scripture in the Bible that speaks of God's personality and how God sees the world. And I can show you that we are no different from God. And you might say, well, we're just made in his image. No, I'm telling you, he made in yours. I'm telling you, you are God. No image. You don't have to use imagination. You don't have to use none of that. You are God. There's no other way to separate it. Your children are you. If you break them down to their smallest molecule, their DNA is yours. You are not separate from your children, right? Because they are you. They are you and your wife, or you and your husband. I don't care how far you go back. They are all the cousins and ancestors that preceded them, because you will find their DNA right inside of them. Now, it won't be the individual body, but you'll see the same soup that's made up of them, you are made of. Okay, likewise, God created you. Without God, there is nothing. Without you, there's no God. Without God, there's no you. How are you not God? You think God made something separate from himself? Do you think that's possible? You see, so like when I see it, it's like we look at God as God is all powerful and so special, but then we are so small. And it's like, how could you believe that? It's like you're the stone at the base of the mountain, praising the stone at the top, not realizing it's there because of you. Like, if you weren't forming its base, there wouldn't be a peak. You are the mountain. It's crazy. That's like your feet looking up to your head. Do you know? Like, we are arrogant people. Do you think your consciousness is here? Like, you think if you stand on your head, you upside down? You see what I'm saying? There's no part of your body greater than the other. Because your head holds your brain. That's not the most important. You will notice if you stub your toe, everything in your mind will go to that toe. Because you realize that, hey, I am my whole body, actually. I'm not just one part. So you're not just some human and God is God or whatever. You are human. You're the human version of you, and you're the God version of God. It's through your awareness that you understand this more clearly. Does that mean you have all power? Yeah, but not in the way that you understand. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example. We can start from the very beginning of the Bible. Bereshit et Elohim. In the beginning, there was God, right? In the beginning, there was God, and darkness covered the face of the earth, and the world was null and without void and form. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Okay, cool. God is alone. There is nobody but God. There's no one before God, because this is in the beginning, right? Now, watch this. When people say, okay, God is in the beginning, so God is before time. Well, time is what? Increments of moments. So if God is sitting here looking at the face of the void of whatever nebulous, isn't that at a time? We're describing something God is doing. God is not exempt moments in time or consequences. God said, let it be light, and there was light, right? So the consequences of God speaking was light. So not even God can avoid consequences, right? People say this, if God told a lie, it'd be true. If God did this, it would do that. So we know God can't avoid consequences. So you're saying God is all powerful. Is he powerful enough to avoid consequences? Absolutely not, right? He made humans, and now the fault of humans is, hey, sin. So God is learning that everything he creates, there's something else that comes from that. We are the same way. Let's say you're God and there's nothing but you. What is there to know? What understanding is there? There's only you. There's not a past. There's not a present. There's not a person or another being to bounce ideas off of. There's not cold. There's not hot. There's not up. There's not down. There's not light nor darkness. There's just God. Just imagine closing your eyes and being in your head. That's God. There ain't nothing. There ain't nobody to talk to, nowhere to go. You're just in your head. There's nothing. So in order for God to understand what is hot, what is solid, what is liquid, what is anger, what is love, how can God do that just sitting there by himself? What is knowledge? Do you understand? If God just makes up love, then why would we even trust God? God would have to experience love to know what that is. So how do you do that? So this is why I say we are all God. If you go all the way back to the beginning of time, there's one consciousness. In order for that consciousness to understand itself, it has to recreate itself and bounce off other conscious people. And you can't control them. You understand that they have to be able to move solely differently from you for you to be able to grasp a clear understanding, right? If I just live with my perspective, how much understanding will I truly have? That means I'm just going to treat you however I want with no consideration for how you feel about it, I'll speak to you in ways that could be derogatory to you, but I won't care because that's how I was brought up. I'll treat you how I want to treat you with only myself being in mind. Do you realize that we'll get nowhere like that? I have to care about you having feelings too, right? And so the only way to understand it is that you voice them to me. And I have to be accepting that you are equally as important as I, in order for me to truly value that. This is why I say there's no way we can say we are not one and the same with the Almighty or with the All. I can, even if you say, okay, we're all made from carbon, simply enough, right? At our smallest molecule, we're all made up from carbon. So if you were to say, okay, you are you and I am me, so how can we be God? We're all different. I say that we're one and the same, and these are merely reflections of the same being. You see what I'm saying? Like, you are a vessel containing a drop of water. I am a vessel containing a drop of water, but that drop of water is the ocean. We are God. You see what I'm saying? If I take a cup of water out of the ocean, that is still the ocean in a cup of water, right? So God fills itself with human vessels. Now we look at each other and don't see God. I see Cat.
And so many people are asking, well, one guy is asking, how can you use the word God if you don't believe in him? I would like to say that if you actually study the terminology and the etymology of that word and the spirituality behind that word, you'll see that it's actually, for lack of terminology, belittling to put him in that category. He's bigger than that word God. What he is everything, meaning he is in every person, every place, every, like Kev say, molecule. God is everything, everywhere, all the time. That's God.
All the time.
We are taught to put him into human form, so we can't see him as everything. And so that's what causes us to mistreat animals and mistreat other beings and mistreat trees. And because we are desensitized from it because we don't see it as God, when everything is God. And when we learn that and actually put that into play, we can't treat people bad. We can't treat things bad. And because the world is the way that it is, we know that by all these religions, we still ain't got it completely right, because all this stuff is still taking place. We are desensitized from the chicken because we want to eat it. We are desensitized from the cow because we want to eat it. Kev likes to give this analogy where we eating the apple. It's just the boo-boo from the tree. But it's going back into the ground. Right. It's being refertilized, but that's what it was made for. When in the Bible, when he created us to have dominion over everything, because we're supposed to be the most intelligent being. But if we're the most intelligent being, then why are we killing the planet? Why are we killing the trees that are supposed to feed us? When you look at the biggest animals in the world, they're plant-based. Elephants, rhinos, giraffes, they don't kill each other, and another thing I wanted to say is, there was a quote I learned from Iyanla some years ago: God wants to experience life through you, in you, for you, as you. And that was so powerful to me, because the one who created everything, the source of it all, has to create us in different forms and images to be able to experience everything that this realm has to offer. In order for him, it, she, him, whatever you want to call it, in order for them to experience this realm, this third dimensional realm, it has to do it through us, for us, in us, as us. That's why we keep it keeps going. And Kevin, you touched on this when we talked before in private. You might can break it down a little bit better than I can, but it's really powerful when you look at it like that. It's like he wants to have an experience. So for me to tell you that your experience is wrong, how can I do that? If everybody was supposed to be the same and walk the same, there would be no reason for God, the source, to continue. There's nothing new to find out. There's nothing new to experience. I've experienced it all. But because we are still coming, because we're still reproducing, then there's something else that he wants to experience. So you can't tell people that their experience is wrong because it's not your experience, because you choose that. God didn't choose you for that.
And I'll elaborate on that too. Like you said, you can't tell someone their experience is wrong. Everybody, imagine that we're all sitting in a room together, right? And let's say Kween Katt feels cold in that room. Okay, well, I say, man, you ain't cold, right? I'm hot. Ain't no way you cold, right? And she's like, dude, I am freezing. I don't know if I'm anemic or what, but I mean, I see you sweating. You do look like you could be hot, but I'm freezing. Her teeth are chattering, and I just cannot believe that she is cold because I'm hot. Okay, so what I'm telling her is how she feels isn't true, but she knows what she's saying is true because she can feel it, y'all. So what's true is the temperature on the wall, okay? But what I have to accept as her experience is that she is cold. Do you understand? What I have to accept as my experience is that I am hot. No matter how hard I try, I can't be cold. I just can't see it the way she sees it. But as long as we both understand that there is a hardcore fact here, we're fine. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to argue with her about how she feels because that is true for her. So if you connect to God in a different way than me, who am I to tell you that's not true? You see what I'm saying? What we both should agree on, though, is that the world needs help. And so she can take how she feels, I can take how I feel, and we can put that together and get out here and change the world. You know, someone has said something about, why would I say God? Why would I say God if I don't believe in God, by the concept that, of course, most people believe in it. I don't have another way of conveying this to the humans I'm talking to. You guys understand God as a concept of the being who created you guys, who lives within you, who judges you, and everyone tends to call what their belief system is a God. So I'm just trying to say, for lack of a better word, God is experience. God is everything, literally everything, and you cannot separate yourself from everything. That would be God. I'm not saying that it's a being with a conscience that sits outside of you to judge you. I'm saying it is you. And yes, you sit outside of you and judge you. Absolutely. You judge others too. We're very judgmental. We're very wrathful. We have every single attribute that it says this God has. It is describing the human personality, family. It is. And that's beautiful. It's how we understand ourselves. The God version of us is who we vibrate to being in our most aware. If you are at your least aware, you are in human form. You only see yourself as a person. You don't know how important you are. You don't know how needed you are. You only see yourself as an individual. You see things around you as individuals. So you think that things are here for you to dominate or use, not understanding that you are literally intertwined with those things. A person who does not have the understanding and awareness of a God believes that air is just something that's outside of them, and they must breathe that in order to have life. A person who's on the level of understanding they are God knows that they are not separate from air. You are the trees. They are the other side of your breathing apparatus. Without your trees, there is no lungs, family. They are shaped identical to your lungs. Okay, so they are made with you. You are them. You're not without them. So when you go cutting down the trees, you are a human that is bringing upon demise to himself. So Kween Katt said, how are we so intelligent? But we are the ones destroying the planet. Because of what I said when we first came on, we are walking towers of Babel. We do not understand spiritual things. We don't understand these things. So we are out here just moving. Hey, I want to cut these trees out and make a place. I'm not going to care about the ecosystem around it. I'm not going to care what I'm doing to my world. I'm going to do this just for sheer convenience or architecture. This is not how a God would move. This is seeing the world momentarily, not seeing it 10 years from now. So you are in human form, vibrating low, and you can only see few things when you're low. Like if you're low on the ground, what your eyes can see is very small. You cover a short amount of distance, but if you're high up, you can cover a great distance, right? So when you're vibrating low, you do not see things from that standpoint. Take a tribe, for instance. They would vibrate high because they live in and with the surroundings. So if they live in the woods or the wilderness, notice they live with the trees. They live with the animals. If they have to kill, they use every part of the animal. The animal becomes clothing. The animal becomes oils, essential oils for things. It becomes soaps. It becomes all these different things. And even their excretion that is on the other side of eating is food back for the trees and the plants. They know that they are a part of the universe. They are a part. It's not just killing. It's life. You feel me? Everybody has to play a part. And even us, like, we consume and we yet will be eaten one day. This is why I say, like, from an individual concept, we have put ourselves on this level that is above all other animals. But the fact, which is the temperature on the wall, is we ain't. Whether or not we're the most intelligent of all other biological species on the planet, whenever we die, we are still food for the maggots, family. It makes you right in line with everything that's God. You can't separate yourself from life. You can't. We try, right? We'll go to a church made of dead wood and call it a place of a living God. We don't call a forest that literally gives you food without a farmer. That ain't a living God right there, right? The living God is the trees we cut down out of the forest and built a building. We go in there and say God. This is where it's twisted. Then when we get buried in a box, separate from nature. But when we're alive, we have no problem contributing to nature. We'll eat till we blue in the face, right? We'll soak up the earth's nutrients and everything. We don't have a problem with that. But when we die, we want our body to stay intact, right? We don't want to play our part. So you got to understand what is abomination to God. What would be considered blasphemous to a God? If God is nature, okay, if God is life, then you being counterproductive to life is blasphemous to God. Do you see the fact that you don't want to go back to nature is saying, do you want to go back to God? You're supposed to go back to God. You're supposed to go in the earth just like a seed and fertilize the plants around you, because you didn't have a problem eating those plants, right? You didn't have a problem eating those animals. So now it's your turn. Now, I don't want that. I want to be preserved. This is what I'm saying. And we do the same thing with life, period. We don't want to be one with God. We're behaving separate from God, and we're wondering why we don't have what God has for us. You understand? And that's why I say it's in our knowledge that our lack of knowledge that we perish. God does not want a world against each other. It wants a world with harmony. We would say a man and wife are the example of what harmony looks like, right? The man protects and feeds and resources the wife. The wife nurtures and uplifts the husband. You would say that's perfect. Do you know it don't take marriage to do that? Marriage is a human concept. We're supposed to be doing that for each other, period, Kat. Like, I'm supposed to have your back, period. I'm supposed to protect you, period. You shouldn't have to be my wife for that. If I see somebody about to drop something in your drink, I'm supposed to say something for you. If I see somebody stalking you, about to follow you down that alley, I'm supposed to have your back. You are my sister. You understand? If you see somebody about to trick a baby on me, you're supposed to tell me. You're supposed to have my back. If you see somebody lying on me, trying to get me arrested for something you know I didn't do, you're supposed to call that sister out. I shouldn't have to be married for somebody to have my back. If we had harmony in our communities, we wouldn't have all this crap. Our women wouldn't feel like it's okay to do a man like that, because her own sisters would get on her about that. Our brothers wouldn't feel like it's okay to treat a woman like that, because our brothers would correct each other. So what we have is a broken thing, and that would not please God. So what you get from that is a damned community. Why? Because God is not present. There is no harmony. There is no life being spoken. There's only tear downs. There's only reasons why you don't want to be masculine or feminine. None of this stuff is shutting out the bull crap and just doing what you're supposed to do. You see, and that's why I try to say God is the doing. It's not something that is the timid thing like what we do. We live in thought, ask ourselves a million questions, and come up with a million reasons not to perform, when that's not how God is supposed to move. God is the doing. The absence of that is Satan. Do you understand? When God saw the world was null and void, he spoke to it and changed it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're never supposed to be stagnant. So if you're standing still, you have to ask yourself, why am I idle? Like, let's say you know what to do to change your life. I think everybody on here right now can probably give somebody else advice on something to do to change their life. But in your own life, we'll be kind of aloof to what we're supposed to do. So let's just imagine that you got your life, and all you're supposed to worry about is your life. The steps that you put forth in your life to manifest or to materialize your destiny as a God. You are here to create. Let's say you did that, right? So let's say, what is it that you need to do to create? What has you stagnated? If you find yourself not creating, then you got to say, what are the things that I'm thinking? Because what they say, the mind is the devil's playground, right? Idle conversation is the killer of dreams, and God hates idle conversation. God hates idle thought. Why does God hate idle thought? Because God equals creation. And with idle thought, creation don't get done. So let's just say, I as a man, something very simple. I see a woman across the room. I think she's beautiful. Okay. God is doing, that's walking up to her and speaking to her, right? But here is stagnation, right? Here's idle conversation or idle thought. What if she don't like me? What if she's high maintenance, right? That thought, how is that beneficial to you? It's not. You're supposed to just go speak, because you're living in fear, false evidence appearing real. Whether she turns you down or not is irrelevant to that thought you're having. Well, what if she don't like me? That's why you're not manifesting your dreams, family. The idle thought. That's why I'm telling you, prayer is not thought. It's just doing. You got to be dumb. You can't doubt yourself. You got to be like Neo and just jump off the building. I don't care. If you spent your life doing, you would have what you want. I swear to you, you would. But what we'll do is we'll think about, what if it don't work out? What if I'm not good enough?
That's why
idle.
The way to get in is to have the mind of a child, because tell that child they can fly, they're gonna try to fly. They believe what you say. They believe that anything is possible. They see it on TV. I can do that too. And so you have to have the mind of a child. You have to have the faith of a mustard seed. You have to be able to, like he said, be dumb. Like, I don't know, but it's gonna work out for me.
And Kat, it's the data. It's the data that cripples us. So it's I was saying this yesterday, but if you think about this, it's so simple. It's the information, the spell. So if you take an animal who is not intelligent like humans, right? Okay, take a squirrel. They're not intelligent like humans, right? Well, could you trick a squirrel into selling its birthright? Could you trick a squirrel into not going and getting a nut, but to going and working for a nut? You couldn't. Right? You know how much data would be required for that squirrel to adopt and believe, to go past all these other nuts just to go to a place to work for someone to hand them a nut, right? And this is what I mean by data. Human beings, gods who this planet supposedly belongs to, will drive past fruit. We'll drive past all the forests to go to a store and buy fruit. So if you say what separated us from God, lack of knowledge, data, because God is free. God is right here. There shouldn't be anywhere you can't go and eat or do whatever. You're in heaven. Just the matter of Adam and Eve being tricked into believing they got to work. So if God truly gave you the world and you believe that, why are you paying for land? This is why they say if they realize who they are, this is all over. Because you have every bit of right to this world as they do who charge you for it. That's why they take these Facebooks off live when I talk about this type of stuff. They hate it because they don't want you to realize that you are God. You are. I don't mean that in some like poetic sort of way. I mean 100% you are God. Your mind is the spiritual version of God. Your consciousness is the spiritual version of God. And this is what gives you your awareness that you exist. Your physical form is the physical manifestation of God. Every animal contains a little bit more of God consciousness. You can elevate your God consciousness through unlocking your pineal gland. But if you do not do that, you are closer to your savage state, which is just being God in the flesh. God in the flesh is chaotic. That's why we call it the devil. It is something that wants to eat and does not consider its well-being. So when you are low vibrational, you will eat without considering health. You will eat for the taste of food because you love your body. You love You love how it tastes. So you won't care how good it is for your body. A God is aware. A God does not live like that, just seeking desire and seeking what feels good. A God knows it's about balance. You need bitter too, right? So you can't live like a low vibrational human, because you'll pay the result of that. Your life will look like a low vibrational human. But if you live your life like you know you are, like a God, and people are going to tell you, you're not a God, they're going to try to discourage you. I'm telling you, this awareness must be for you, and you got to have that faith regardless of what anybody tells you. That's the faith you're supposed to have. Believe in yourself regardless of what anybody tells you, because here's the real kicker. They don't know you. Do you understand? They are looking at the flesh part of you, trying to tell you who you are inside. Why would you have faith in them over you? This is why I say you got to have faith that surpasses understanding, because who you are is never in front of your eyes. You have never saw you. The best version of you that you'll ever see is the trail you leave behind, the decisions you made, what you did when that person did that to you, and what you said when that person said that to you. That's who you are. You think you who you are in the mirror? That's what I mean by, we think we're humans. Like you, Kevin just sitting right here in this van out here in this parking lot in the physical. Kevin is every decision he ever made. So there's an extent to me that I am not acknowledging if I just think I'm right here, right now. You understand what I'm saying? So you are behind your eyes. Your capabilities, your talents, the things you have yet to create and do are still buried inside of you. For you to recognize this part of you is to say, okay, accepting that I am God is realizing that in order for me to truly see what I want, I have to create it.
Yeah.
That's what God does. In order for God to get the world, it must create it, does it not? So do you get the world you want unless you create it, Kat? No, nobody's ever going to give you that. Even the way you see the world, you create it. If you see the world through a positive light, yo, that's a thanks to you. You understand? So that's how you see the world. But good and evil's happening all the time. If somebody look at the world and they want to see it in a negative light, yo, they can, because people are being robbed, people are poor, people are dying of hunger. Yeah, the world is a scary place, but it's also a beautiful place. This is why I say, yo, that's God. It's not God is good and the devil's evil. No, God is good and evil. Until you have this understanding that God is knowing and not all knowing, that God is everything, good, bad, white, black, it doesn't matter. These things don't separate you from God.
And the reason why I want to point this out, I'm sorry for cutting you off, is because someone said they were confused because we were talking about religion, and now we're talking about the Bible. Well, we're discussing reinvention after religion, right? And so what he's saying requires we came from Christianity, so we can speak from personal experiences, but we also studied other religions as well. So we might when we're giving examples, we might go back to the Bible because that's what we are from originally. We're not bashing the Bible or just talking about the Bible, but we're using quotes from the Bible because that's where we're from. But we're talking about religion as a whole, and we want people. So I see people that asking people why they're in here. We don't mind. We want everybody to come. That's what we're saying. We should be able to come and reason together and talk about this. You should be able to see things from each other's points of view. So I wanted to interject that real quick. And I wanted to also say that when you were talking about the body, that's what it means when it says you deny the flesh. You have to train it. You know, it's just like an animal. Some people say that dogs are one of the closest things you'll get to God, because as long as you befriend that dog, you can treat that dog however you want to treat that dog. That dog is going to love you. It's just like a child. That child, whether if you tell that child you're going to do something, they're going to believe you. They're going to take you at your word. Some of them might get upset, but they're going to come right back. You know, if you say I'm sorry, they're going to come right back. That doesn't justify for you to treat them any kind of way, but it's just saying that be humble as a child. You know, be gentle as a dog. You know, like they will lay down their lives for the people that they care about. But I didn't. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to interject right there because I saw some that were they're not being attacked in the comments, but everybody's welcome as long as everybody is open to listening to other people.
Absolutely. And family, it's about reinventing yourself after religion, because once you realize that a lot of things that you've been doing were religious things and ritualistic things that don't get you closer to your dreams and manifest your reality. You have to say, who am I going to be now? Because if you keep doing those things that you once did ritualistically, expecting something different and you don't get it, that's the definition of insanity. So if you realize, okay, the way I've been practicing this isn't correct, then you have to reinvent yourself. And how does one do that? Okay. So the way I did that, family, is I pulled away and began to look at the world through a fresh lens. I got rid of what I thought about religion and said, if I come back to it, that'll be fine. But I want to be able to look at the world through what I call the eyes of God. And that is looking at the eye, looking at the world through nature, family, through understanding that if you were brought up told that the Bible is your God, that your vessel is your God and your consciousness is God, and you are to use all three of these to bring about an understanding. You have a mind, you have nature. What stands in between that is your vessel. So the way you understand nature and the way you get that message from nature to your mind is to interact with it using your vessel. So everybody has an avatar. This is what we are birthed into. Our soul, what houses our soul or our God in this realm is our avatar, our flesh, right? So this is our avatar. I got mine. Kween Katt has hers. Now her nerves are set up different in her body. Her taste buds are set up different in her body. The way her eyes receive and break down light is different than mine. The way she hears is different than mine. She is in her own world. It is unique to her, and nobody else can understand the world the way Katt can when she examines the world through her being. It's truth, yo. If Katt eats something, the way that tastes to her is unique to her because of her taste buds. Nothing is what it is, family. Everything is to be defined once it comes into contact with you and your vessel and your consciousness. It will look different, I promise you. So when you learn that life is that same for everybody, it gives you concept, family. It does. That what is hot for me ain't hot for Katt. What's painful for me ain't painful for Katt. That everyone is different. And you ought to understand the world through that. So when I look at the world, I say, okay, if I was going to teach a bunch of people how to truly understand God, I would say God is understood through heartbreaks. God is understood through experiences. And we're supposed to come here to this planet and make the world a better place. And through these heartbreaks and experiences, we learn lessons. And we're not supposed to forget what we came here for. So God recreates itself through reincarnation. Okay. God never interacts with a planet without being in a human form. And we've seen this shown in every spiritual book you can think of. When God comes to save the world from sin, he comes via his avatar, Jesus, which is God in the flesh. And we don't argue with that. We say that's God in the flesh, right? God, the word becomes flesh. We don't argue with this. Okay, let's go over to the Bhagavad Gita. Let's talk about Hinduism, okay? Brahma, Ganesha, Krishna. Every one of these are physical manifestations of Vishnu. So Vishnu, in order to interact with the people of the earth, comes to earth using avatars, putting himself inside of vessels that don't necessarily know they're himself. Like these vessels, once they come to earth, they may not actually know they're God, because the point of it is to understand, not to be God. You understand? God wouldn't be arrogant saying, I'm God. You got to think like this, family. If God's the only being in existence, you're not superior to anyone. You wouldn't think like that. You would not be egotistical. Do you understand? If there's nobody but you, who are you superior to? Where would ego come from? Who would you bully? Who are you above? Not a soul. So life ain't about that. Life is about understanding. God is about understanding. That's why in all things you get an understanding, family. I love it, but it really hurts me that people are so aloof to who they truly are, inherently, just who they are. You understand that they can be told what the world is like by somebody else and have their freedom taken from them because they're given a way to look at life instead of understanding that the world is yours. How you see it is true. How you feel it, how you experience it is true. If I eat a grapefruit and it's disgusting to me, then the grapefruit itself isn't disgusting. So what I have to learn is I can't judge things. That's why you judge not, lest you be judged. Are you good?
That because someone it's not judgment, but I wanted to comment. He said, sorry, Katt, the Bible is tainted because it's been tampered with. We are easily deceived. Like I said, I'm quoting from the Bible. because there might be someone who's on here, and I'm using it as a reference. However, we don't want to make wokeness a religion. So by just that statement, you kind of told me that I was wrong in your own way. And that's what we're trying to walk away from. That's a part of reinventing yourself after religion, is being able to hear other people's points of views and saying, okay, like, I get it if that's what you're saying, that's why you don't deal with the Bible, but you kind of just said you're wrong for even quoting anything from the Bible, you know, because you don't believe in it anymore. And that's basically what we're saying. We don't want to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a person comes on here and quotes the Quran as an example of what they're saying in a statement, I can't come back and say that Quran has been tainted, so whatever you give me from that, I don't receive. You get what I'm saying? What is that called, Kev? Cognitive, yeah. So
Reality.
We that's what we don't want. That's a part of reinventing. That's a part of growth. That's a part of being able to hear without judgment, being able to see without judgment. You know, you weren't wrong, but I'm trying. That's what we're trying to deter people from, because that's what brings separation. Because I could have come in and been a hothead and start a debate, which would deter us from the point, which would cause us to sin, which is the original meaning of sin. The original meaning of sin is to miss the mark, to miss the point of what we are talking about. So by not understanding, we sin all the time. People perish for a lack of knowledge. That's the sin. We're not studying. We're saying that this one book and no more. In order for me to learn that Torah correctly, I'm gonna have to that Quran correctly, I might have to study Arabic. In order for me to learn the Bible correctly, I have to go to another book, you know, because I have to look up definitions. I have to look up the etymology of words. So I have to study another book, because there were people that said this Bible is right. In order to understand the Bible, you got to understand the words in it. And the Bible don't have no definition. Well, it used to have a definition section, but it don't have a definition of the etymology of all these words, because we know that the Bible was written in a different language. The Quran was written in a different language. So you have to go outside of that book to get an understanding of what's in it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to come together and reason and hear other people's points of view. And we got to get past the book. You know, we gotta get past the appearance, and we gotta hear what they're saying. That's just like, I gave an example one time where when I stepped away or was coming out and I started changing my hair, right? I stopped wearing the perm, and so my hair was in an afro. Can y'all hear me? Okay, my hair was in an afro.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started telling them the truth about, like, having a conversation with people, instead of them engaging in conversation with what I'm talking about, they reverted back to, you changing and you're just doing that now. You're just saying that now because you woke, because of my hairstyle, because how I was carrying myself. You woke, you black power. That's why you saying what you're saying. And then I ended up in a relationship, in a same-sex relationship, and now it's, oh, the only reason you saying that now is to live the life that you want to live. You're just doing away. They completely went past the conversation that we're having right now and reverted back to my lifestyle. It was always something else instead of getting to the root of the problem. You know, the root of the problem is the judgment. The root of the problem is the religion. I'm not going to comment on it because you're missing the point. You're sitting right now. I'm not sugarcoating the Bible. I'm not sugarcoating the Bible. As I stated earlier, you probably weren't in here. The Bible can be used for the law. The Bible is a book of law, and the Bible is a book of science. It's a book of the zodiac signs.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say to Shannon Donald, no, that's not what she's doing. She's not sugarcoating by any means. So some you have different people from different like some people still use the Bible, they still read the Bible, it still inspires them, it still gives them higher thought, and there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. That's why I was saying that there are people who elevate themselves from criminals using the Bible. Using cognitive reality, you can use whatever source you want to elevate yourself. So I'll use scriptures from the Bible from time to time as well. I look at the Bible as it being a lot of esoteric information, a lot of symbolism, a lot of, like I said, the sun going through the zodiac. So you learn a lot about astrology or astronomy through the Bible. It is like Kween Katt so eloquently put. It is it's medicine. It has truth. Now, for many of us, we hate or we want to detest the Bible because we believed in it as a source of truth to God. Some people may even still understand it as that. We don't want to come. This event isn't about leave your religions or leave your belief systems, leave Christianity, leave Islam, leave whatever it is you believe, and come believe what we believe. We're not trying to say believe in something. We're saying don't allow yourself to be taken by religion, by someone simply telling you how you should worship, how you should choose to be, and frame your life that way. If you end up a Christian of your own volition, and you be the best Christian you can be. And me personally, I respect that. What bothers me is people claiming to be of a certain religion, but they don't live it. And I believe that bothers you as well, Shannon. Like people who would say, I'm Christian, but they don't go to church. They don't read. They don't have any knowledge of what the book says, but they're saying that because their parents are Christian, or we're living a world that is predominantly Christian. So it seems like the thing to say. So those type of people, man, I always say those are not real Christians. You know what I mean? But those seem to be the people who get the angriest when you speak about the religion and the things they haven't taken the time to study themselves. But, you know, when it comes to, and that's religion, right? When you say they haven't read the scripture, they've only did appeal to authority, appeal to majority. Most people believe in it. They came to the conclusion that these things are real, not based on their own reading of it and their own interpretation.
And
I would call that
just goes back to
right?
What I just said, the cognitive dissonance. When you know, all of a sudden, because I just said what I said, somebody else is saying, it looks to me, this is just my opinion, that you both are trying to play very safe. You having same-sex relationship and Kevin having 2 wives, is that a godly question? So it goes back to my example. I just said it, that we're talking to you about religion, and we're using quotes from the Bible, because in order to gain the fish, I have to think like a fish. So if I'm talking to Christians, then I'm going to talk about the Bible. If I'm talking to Muslims, I'm going to talk about the Quran. So he's saying, stop and reread what he's saying. They're saying that they need the hardcore. It's more than you on the live. There's more than you.
He said, I'm saying go hard against the Bible because the Bible is the issue until we understand self. Mm-hmm. Well, I can understand where you're going with that. But no, that's not the purpose here. It's not to go against any religious literature. I guess it's more about the people who are wanting more out of their life, who realize that their religious rituals aren't getting them closer to their manifestations. We want to help those people learn to reinvent themselves so they're no longer using their religious system to get what they want in life and give them their power back. We could argue religion all day. And, you know, I got several videos that breaks down why I don't believe in certain books in religion. But this, however, is for people who want more out of their spiritual life, and they don't want to be religious, and they're realizing that religion does not do it for them. So I want you guys to understand what the mission here is. I can get out here all day and thump at the Bible and thump at the Quran for what problems I may have with them that would make them not true over any other book. I can do that all day, family. But I more so want to connect with people who want more out of their personal life who ain't really trying to, it's not about all of that. It's more about, man, I just want to see how to get my life worked out. I spent my time in religion. I know that there are things about it that don't sit well with me. There's some things that I loved about it. But frankly, the point is, I just want to move forward with my life, man. Like, and that's what it is. It's not about judging y'all. It's not about what lifestyles we use or you trying to judge us by what lifestyles we use, who we date. It's simply irrelevant. If you are a person and you said, hey, I want out of my life, there are certain things I want to manifest. I know there's more for me to do. I know I have a calling over my life. I know I'm meant to do something greater. I can feel it within, but I don't know really how to tap into myself to bring that out. And religion isn't doing it for me. If that's who you are, family, come to the event and get the book, because that's what it's about. It's not about you shouldn't be this religion because of this, and this religion is wrong because of this. This is not about right and wrong. We're trying to throw you guys some rope in this dark hole that we're in, not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're trying to figure our way. We're trying to throw you some rope to help you pull yourself out of the abyss so you can see clearly. Because right now we're drowning in ideas that hold no weight. They just don't. And us contributing to them is just us teaching our family and recreating generational curses by teaching our family to try and create in this way. It's not wise. We have to challenge it, and we have to bring out the best in us by any means necessary. That's why my whole new mission wasn't let's be religious. It was make the newest version of yourself, or make the best version of yourself your new religion. What if we set out to become greater people in the, like, from within? Polymath, not polyamory, y'all, but polymath. It is a structure to live life. It is studying philosophy. It's working out. It's dieting. It's doing all these things that make your body stronger and better and make your mind stronger. So this is one of the things I pour myself into, polymath. I'm always reading philosophy. I love reading ancient quotes that men and women have said that have passed on, that challenge me to think and make me a better person. I love it, family. And there are people who have came before us that have said some things that can change our life if we would just apply it. I love to read what those people have to say. I also love to pour myself into my working out, because I believe our ancestors are within us divinely, that we can summon them at any moment, that whatever skill they possess, whatever talent they had is buried inside of us. And our journeys are not outside of us, they're inside of us. There's no path for you to walk outside of you. There's only a path to go through inside of you. And we pull those jewels out by working on our bodies. And that's how we become sharper and talented, by doing the same things over and over until you perfect them. Taking the time and pouring it into yourself instead of going out here and trying to fit into the world systems. I'm telling y'all, if you are that person and you say, man, I want to be Father in my life, and you've watched me since religion, not have it figured out. I went through losing my job, not knowing how to manifest money, and now my life is completely changed. Why? I changed my philosophy. I changed how I do things. I know whatever is mine, I can go get it. It just requires me to go get it. Now I'm a lion. I'm no longer a baby bird waiting for somebody to bring something back and put it in my mouth. I know the only way for me to eat is for me to go get it. And I've turned myself into a hunter who does not make excuses. Whether or not I'm tired or not, I'm going to get up and do it. I don't live in this place anymore where I talk myself out of my dreams anymore. Many of y'all are still in that place. So I really want you guys to look at your own personal life and say, are there more things in my life that I want? If I could have those things without having to pray to somebody or go through somebody else to get it, would I be interested in learning how I can have those things? If that's true for you, you are wasting your time trying to argue if the Bible real, y'all. Whether the Bible is real or not, do you have what you want in your life, family? Are you where you want to be right now in your life, in your soul? Is your soul good this morning? This is what I'm saying. We are empty on the inside, and our communities are a reflection of that. And we sitting here talking about, is the Bible real? Is what we are doing productive to changing our community? Yes or no? Whether or not the Bible is real, we ain't doing it. The problem is in your doing. Forget a book, man. That's what I keep saying. Put the book down and do. No religion, N-O religion, no God, K-N-O God, K-N-O-W God. When you have no religion, only then will you know God. God is harmony. That's what God is. If you want to see God, it's not a person that's going to come out of the sky and judge you. God is harmony. God is the world that you create at your highest self, at your highest principles. You will see children be born in homes that are not broken. You'll see children have a mother and a father and a grandmother and a grandfather. See how crazy? See what I did there? Right? That's impossible. We don't even hear that no more. Right? Culture. We'll see that we're no longer creating generational curses because we took the time upon ourselves to create culture and principles. Forget a book. The problem is us, y'all. The problem is we don't do what we know to do. We're looking at the world and we see it's messed up and we want a God to come down here and fix it. That's why we want religion so bad. Because I promise you, if I take your religion from you, you will know the only way to fix the world is if you do it. And I think that's the problem. I really swear to God I do, yo. That's why the conversation gets so twisted. What they're trying to do, Kat, is distract us. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing what they're doing. This is what happens when people say, I desperately want to stay stuck in my ways. So you say, here's a way out, guys. And they rather argue with you. They will never have their freedom, Kat. This is why I love the African proverb, give them advice. If they don't want it, let the universe teach them. Our time is not supposed to be spent beating nothing in anybody's head. Do you understand what I'm saying? We open the door, we say, is this for you? And if it's for you, you walk through that door. If you got a problem, you take that somewhere else until you realize this is what you want to need. But we ain't here to argue with them. We're here to uplift people. We want people to leave this live inspired, knowing that, yo, there is life after religion. You don't have to pull away from who you are spiritually. You know who you are. You know you need spiritual things to be a better person. You can still do that without having to go to a synagogue, without having to go to a church, without having to subject your life to some other man and his knowledge of what he has in some book. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, just be encouraged, love. People are gonna always try and do that and distract. Let's not lose this message. I believe that just like our last event, it'll be filled with people who want the truth, who are not there and trying to debate you about where you stand, but to say, you know what, I want more out of life, and I see where you are. Obviously, you got something. You changed your life to a degree. Like you said, I looked different. Through my understanding, I changed how I look. Now you have these beautiful locks that represent your antenna, and you can tell that you're closer to God and nature because you changed along with your belief system. Well, the Bible talks about that. It talks about changing your ways to get what you want out of life, and that you should be conformed to your belief system, not the world. A person should change when they adopt a belief system. So to me, the last thing they should do is challenge you on your beliefs when you look like your beliefs. That's why I say my main problem is people who claim to be a believer and don't act like it. That's the big problem. I don't mind the people who look like their religion. Let's be honest. If the world was truly predominantly Christian, would divorce be at an all-time high? No. If the world was truly predominantly Christians, like people who follow Christian values, would abortion be at an all-time high? We'd be sitting here single mother out the wazoo and single father out the wazoo. Wouldn't we get married before sex? These people, the very people on here telling you about God, don't give a damn what that book say, Kat. Look at the life they live, which shows you that, yo, they're religious, not spiritual. If they truly wanted a relationship with God, they wouldn't disobey the very book they believe in. Most of these people put a level 10 on them believing in God and the Bible, but they still get out here and lay up under somebody and don't wait till marriage. You think they care what the God of the Bible got to say? They don't care. That's what made me mad about religion. When I went to church, it was like, why don't y'all care? Y'all say y'all really truly believe in God. Like, believe in God. Like, hell. Y'all don't. So we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear you ask us why we don't believe in something. Yo, why you don't live like you do? You don't understand how sick it is to be sitting here saying you a Christian and you believe in God, but live like this in front of who you call God and really say you believe in him like you going to hell. Let's be real. So all of you guys on here mad, you going to hell. Like, literally. I'm not trying to hurt their feelings. I'm saying, if you say you believe in this stuff and you not living it, at the end in judgment, when God asks you, why did you contribute to hookup culture? Why did you have all these kids out of wedlock? Why did you have all these abortions? You're going to look at God and say, you understand my... Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Exactly.
He cheated on me first. You think God cares? God said, be angry and sin not. He don't care what you going through. Do not sin. Y'all gonna get to heaven and have all these excuses. I only did it because he did it. I only did it because she did. Man, please. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And every one of you will have your place there. If this person you say you believe in is true. Y'all don't live like y'all believe that. So I'm talking to real people out here. People that when they believed it, they lived it. When they believed it, they read. They went to church. They prayed. They tried to speak in tongues. They tried every bit of that. And it didn't work. I'm talking to y'all who never tried it. You think I care about what y'all got to say? Listen, I said this the other day. People so mad. So many women out here saying, yo, I had no other choice but to sell my body. I'm not hearing that. I refuse to hear that. You're not telling me you don't have a choice. 17-year-olds out here selling their body. They ain't even tried to get a job at Quiznos yet. They ain't even tried to work at Subway yet. So it's like their vagina look like roast beef before they even sell roast beef. They're not trying. They're not trying. And they say they believe in God.
That's true.
Come on now. I'm not talking to those people, so they can have something to say if they want.
It's so true. And that's one of the things that really bothers me as well, is that it's like the preacher that just told her congregation if they were going to see Beyonce, they were all going to hell. It's like, it's so much stuff that you could be teaching on. There's so much rape going on. There's so much people losing their jobs, trafficking. The most religious places in the world, kids are getting touched on. You know, like, there's so many things that could be talked about, yet we are talking about something that won't help us get to the next level. Beyonce concert is not going, I mean, like, Beyonce gonna take you to hell? Out of all the things that we partake in life, Beyonce concert gonna take us to hell. And you choose Beyonce because that's who you know. What about Lil Uzi Vert? What about all these different these rappers? So you're not really engaging. You're going. It's a clout chase as well. You're clout chasing because you know Beyonce's name is gonna ring bells, and you still didn't do that for the betterment of the people. You did that to get a reaction. You did that to be seen, and that's what the church is today. It's a lot of it's not where my grandfather came from. My grandfather thought that he was doing the right thing at the right time. That's all he knew. And he went in there, and his desire was to help the people and help the community. That decade of religion isn't here anymore. Now we have a generation that wants to be seen, and that's it. Their heart is not in the right place. It's just like music. People are doing music for money. They're not doing it for the art, and you can see it because there is no art. So our intention is to better us as a people. We have to look at the bigger picture. That's all we're saying. We're not trying to divide, because there's always a reason that you will be able to divide.
We're trying to bring us all together under the likeness that we are trying to create something great. We're all going to have a different view or concept of what we look or believe God to be. We all have a puzzle piece to bring to it. So none of us should use our puzzle to invalidate anybody else's puzzle. You know God through Christianity and religion. You know God through Islam, man. Okay, bring you and your God with you. Let's change the world. Because at the end of the day, all the stuff that we thinking about, that we pray to in our secret place in our mind, should never interfere with what we see in the real world. And that is, people need help. And the world is desolate. And our communities are desolate. They're destroyed. Nothing goes fucking right. Because it's like we compete in places we shouldn't care to compete in. We want to be the fastest. We want to jump the highest. We want to dress the best. Let's compete to raise our communities the best. Let's see who can correct their communities. Let's see how we can keep the money inside of our communities instead of giving the outsiders our money. Let's see if we can do that. Let's make it a challenge. But see, that ain't cute. And that's why I say that everything that we're doing is counterproductive to what community should be like. We're all contributing to a matrix, y'all, that the matrix is really like to destroy family. Understand? So I'm trying to get us back on the right track. I hate I lost Kat. Hopefully, Kat is still with me, or hopefully nothing went wrong with her phone. It is about that time for us to hop off though. But if she's still there, I'm gonna bring her right back on. Are y'all upset about the condition of y'all communities? Do y'all care? Yes or no? I just want to ask, like, yes or no, family. Do you care about the condition of your community, the state, the mental state of your people, the people who look like you? When you look online and you see these videos showing our behaviors, is it something that makes you proud, family? I'm just asking. If you would, as a prophet, and we all have this ability, look at our behaviors, look 100 years in the future, and tell me how our communities are going to look. And tell me if you're proud of that. Tell me if that's something that you like to see. I, for one, am not. I'm not proud of what I see when I look at our communities. We don't own our communities, okay? We don't own them. We're just living in the communities. They're not ours. The convenience store is not ours, okay? The grocery store is not ours. The banks are not ours. The homes half the time are not ours. And the land that we have, we got to keep paying taxes on that. Do you understand, family? Said you think like me. Listen, King, I'm wishing people would wake their mind up to understanding that it's depressing when you see how young men and women think these days, and you're thinking, yo, marriage and family and principles and morals, that we're at the last bit of it, because people, I mean, they just don't seem to care. Do you understand, Kat? Where you at? Bring Kat back. Bring Kat back. Yeah, I'd love to. Comment, Kat, if you're still here. If you haven't returned in the next like 3 to 5 minutes, I'll go ahead and hop off and we'll do this build again. We'll be here every single Sunday, family, at around 9 a.m. Discussing how to move forward without religion, reinventing yourself after religion. Okay. Of course, mine is there she goes.
I was
There you
getting
go.
text
What happened?
messages, and when I clicked out, I couldn't. When I came back, I couldn't hear.
Got you. Yeah, so good to have you back again. So yeah, we will be finishing up for the until next Sunday to go live again. But I really want to encourage people um to begin to look 5-10 years into the future. Don't just live into the moment, guys. The stuff that we are falling victim to right now, the ideas that we're falling victim to right now, it's only working because we are not connected to God or our higher self. We are in our lower self, guys, and we're arguing foolish arguments with ego in mind, men and women alike, and it's destroying our families and home. And you got to understand, there's an agenda to that. Okay, it's a socialist agenda. You saw this happen in all these other countries. They start infiltrating the country with ideas. Those ideas are like weapons to a harmonic community. So people start thinking like individualistic instead of symbiotic, and we start saying things like the man is more important than the woman, and the woman is more important than the man, and nobody is more important than the other. We have a symbiotic relationship. Without you, I am not. Without me, you are not. Do you understand? It's symbiotic. I literally need you. And this is the voice of God. Look at the world. How can me and you get into the future unless we connect? Man and woman are dead if they don't join. So we are made to be together. The government wants you to think you don't need a man. Men to think, you don't need a woman. This is a lie from the pit of hell, if you want to call it that. And then what we'll do is we'll adopt that belief like we believe it, knowing that facts or the voice of God is telling us different. You cannot argue with God. You can't. But what we'll do is we'll do it till we blue in the face, until the world is just damaged. And you can see it's against the nature of God, because now the children don't get a parent, the children don't get moral upbringing, they don't get that. And so now the parents are saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna do what I want to do in this moment because of this or that. But yo, it's your future self. You have, if you would see through the eyes of God, you know that's you. And the worldview that child's going to have is based on what you give them. It's very important that we take the time to learn what our mistakes are so we can teach them to our children early, because the point is to better our lives and better our communities. And this happens through your children. I promise you, family, your church starts in your family. You're supposed to give your children the right mindset before they leave. Teach a child and raise them up in the way that they should go. We are forsaking the very first part, talking about we love God. That's why I said y'all offend me when y'all start talking about what the belief of the Bible is and asking us all these weird questions, when it's like, if y'all truly believed in God or truly use the Bible as culture to raise your family, we wouldn't even be in these problems. We wouldn't even have these problems. So that's why we're saying, even with these books, it's still a problem.
Yep.
Us. If you say, who's the problem for the community, you're going to say the Bible.
And that's like, and the Bible says that too. Yep, the Bible says that I can't say to the eye, I don't need you. I can't say to the finger, I don't need you. It's a part of the body. We need everything on it. If it's here, it's needed. You know, certain mosquitoes take care of certain things, so it might be a nuisance to us, but it's helping in some other way. Like, everything is necessary. Because somebody asked, do we believe? I believe in duality. Yeah, that's life. In order for us to know what good is, there has to be bad. And a king was answering it too. He was mob type. He was answering it.
You're absolutely right. In order for that to be bad, there must be good, because everything will not give you a good experience. And so something by default won't be good. So the moment you say this is good, you have subsequently created bad and different. The moment you say something is sweet, you have created spicy, you've created bitterness, because everything's not going to be sweet. And this is what I'm saying. God would know that. God would know that. So that's why I keep saying we are God. We are God in the flesh, in the consciousness, and in the mind. 100%. There's no way around it. And I'll leave you guys with this thought before I let you go. Kevin, what do you mean? Let's say you're looking at a TV and you got people on the screen, you got your actors, you got your buildings and whatnot, you got all of that, right? Okay. The people appear to be separate from the buildings, and the building appears to be separate from the ground. But in reality, if you look at this screen, it's made up of pixels, right? Those pixels are really small little screens that give you a little bit more of the picture, and that's how you can see that. Those pixels are what I would say is God. You see, like when I look out at reality, I got trees, I got the road, I got the squirrel over there, I got myself right here. Really, we're all made up of carbon. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at it, I think they're separate from me, but we're really one and the same. You know how when you look at the matrix through the computer, it looks like numbers moving. God looking at the earth, and it looks like molecules. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine God looking at the earth, and it looks like carbon and dust all happening at the same time. And us individually think that, okay, we're important over the other. We would no more be important than you can't pick out a cell in your body right now, right? Your skin, you can't see it, but it's made up of cells, little bitty cells. So to me, it's one of those things where we have to understand that God is not this idea of a grand thing that's so large. It's actually so small, right? It would seem insignificant, but everything is made up of God. It literally is. When I eat food, I might say I'm eating an apple, but it's really made up of vitamins and minerals that really are me. I'm eating that because it's going to turn into me. The only reason that I eat is because whatever I'm eating, the carbon, the minerals from it will break down and be mine. We are one and the same. That's why I say if you put a bunch of us in a room and we're dead, and you come back 1,000 years from now, it'll just be dust. It'll just be dirt. You won't be able to tell who from who. That's why I say in the moment, you're a person. In the moment, you are your name. You are your ego in the moment. But if you take away from that and you zoom out, you are God. And you can't separate that. That's why I say it's beautiful when you think about it, that we can be man, totally lacking knowledge, totally be vulnerable, and at the same time be God, completely, utterly invincible, having all knowledge to everything in the world, to everything that matters. one time, Kat and I were having a build. Actually, just recently, she was at my crib and we were doing a photo shoot for our book. And I was telling her about how the Bible depicts God as having all knowledge. And I was telling her, like, likewise, we have all knowledge. And she's like, what you mean? And I said, what we're calling knowledge is data, information, like history, and things that you learn in books, measurements, what day of the week it is. You know, we call that knowledge. But true knowledge is that you can send blood from your heart throughout the rest of your body. The fact that you can send oxygen throughout the rest of your body. You can make your bones grow. And you might say, well, I don't necessarily know how to do that. But you do. You know how to do that. And so it might not be in your brain as knowledge, like it's in information and data on how you do it, but you can do that. And this is God. God is all powerful, not necessarily knowing why. You see what I'm saying? God can just do it. He doesn't have to know how he does it.
Just that. If y'all really heard what Kev just said, just that quote is enough for the whole book. Just that quote. He just told you that you don't necessarily know how to make your bones grow, how to keep your heart beating, how to breathe, but you do.
And that's all the knowledge you'll ever need. You never need to know what happened in 1862, but you definitely need to be able to break down the food that you eat and digest it, send it throughout your body. You definitely need to be able to do those things. You see what I'm saying? And that is God. You definitely need to be able to create a baby in your belly. You don't have to know how to do that. You don't have to say, okay, now I'm working on the eyes. Don't talk to me. Don't bother me. I'm making eyes right now. Don't confuse me. You don't have to do that. It's effortless to be God. And this is why I say the same. And I wouldn't take credit for that and say, look at how amazing I am. I can make my own heart beat, right?
Yep.
That's like God wouldn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Like God just is. That's why it's I am that I am, right? We are that. Think about this. You may not like how you made it to this planet. You might have rather your parents have planned for you, right? Have been married and said, we want to have a baby. Let's try for a baby and bring you in this world with intention. You might would rather that, right? Some of us got here through people just having sex. Some people got here through somebody graping somebody. And if not your recent ancestor, way down the road during slavery, probably a lot of that happened in order to get you here, right? This means your great-great-great-grandpa was a rapist. You understand? This means that they weren't all good, that you did not come from all good. It also means you're not all bad. So what you got to do is say, I am that I am. See, regardless of how I got here, I am. I might not like my old ancestor, but do I have his DNA? Can you check and find him in me? Yes, so I am. That's why we be cursing our real true gods. We curse our mothers and fathers, but that's your God. You're made in the image of them. So if they didn't live up to who you wish they could be, do not curse them. You speak life into them, because even though they wasn't the person you'd like for them to be, they created you. And you would not have existence at all. At all. It wasn't for them. Now, don't you think that that's worthy of at least you not judging them with your life? Think about this. You can judge anybody. Your parents, man. Even if they're horrible people, if they wasn't there for you, don't speak on it. They got you here. And let's be real. Would you get here even if you had to have horrible parents? Yup. Right? When I came to this planet, even though my mother was married to another man when she created me, by another man, yes, I would still want to be here. You see what I'm saying? I was going to say, Mama, you wrong for cheating. Why'd you do that? If she didn't do that, some other man would have been my daddy. I would not be who I am. I would not be made of the soup that I am. So was my mother a cheater? Yeah. Do I hate my mother? No. I am. I am her. I might not be in her in consciousness when she did it, but I cannot deny that I am her. So why would I judge her? You don't apply morals to a God, do we? We apply morals to God. We don't, right? God creates the morals. Like we don't judge a God. tell you in church, like, listen now, you better respect God. God do what he do when he do it. That's exactly right. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I try to tell people, like, honor God. Whoever gave you life, you give them honor. So even if they're not a great parent, you be a better child. You be a better son or daughter than them. You don't have to pay for it in generational curses with your children, because God is forever judging. Whatever you're creating now will be there for you to face in the future. However you acting today is the consequences of tomorrow. I don't care if you justify it. I don't care for whatever reason. Not even God can escape consequences. When God made the devil, think about this. The devil ended up not being such a great guy, right? We do realize that God had consequences for creating the devil. So not even God is exempt consequences. The whole Bible is trying to parable or give you examples of how you are God. You understand? Like, God existing means the devil already existed. Do you understand? You don't have the devil without God. God creates the devil. So if God exists, so does the devil.
Exactly. And that's in the book
God
of
is
Isaiah.
the devil.
I created good and evil. That's something they don't teach. It's in there.
There can't be God without the devil because of duality. Once there's a God,
and he
there is a devil.
He's telling it.
It's concepts. Right. That's why I say these are concepts to get you to understand higher self. Whenever I want to do good, there is evil present. Why is it telling you this? There's always duality. Please understand the two sides to the coin. There's life, there's death, right? There's building and there's breaking down. Without both, you don't have God. So your devil's side is the side of your body that is always breaking down. So your body recycles through cells. It breaks down cells and is in the business of creating new cells right now. That is duality at work. Your life is not always going to look like good decisions. Do you know why? Not because of morals or what you was thinking at the time, but consequences. Sometimes the thing you do today may not be the wrong thing, but if it don't pan out, then it wasn't the right decision, right? So you don't get to where you get in life based on morals, what people say is morally right and wrong. You understand? I wish people truly understood if they knew that everything they do is going to dictate what their life look like, then they would then know they are the creator of their world. You are God. If I'm drawing a picture, that picture is going to tell you how much experience I've put into drawing. It's going to tell you if I have hand-eye coordination, if I have the ability to take what's in my mind and apply it to paper. You understand? Every single little mark on that paper that makes that picture, I had to put there in order to get that image. I am that picture. It's not something that came from me. It is me. You understand? So you are God. If God created you, then you are an example of God's experience, God's hand coordination, God's imagination. You are an example. You are God, literally. I've been trying to tell people. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot separate yourself from God. That's why I said I'm my mama through and through. I am my daddy through and through. Even if I don't agree with how they live their life, those are my gods. And all they'll ever get from me is praise and worship and adoration. Because every day I wake up and look at this beautiful sky, guess what? My mama and daddy gave that to me. You understand what I'm saying? And if you disrespect that, how could you love a God who you have not saw? These are the questions that God asks you. Who you have not saw. But you see people every day and you don't even love them. You sound crazy. You in love with your imagination. You can love a God.
And that's the original blasphemy. That's the original blasphemy. Is you dishonoring your parents.
Yeah. Absolutely. But see, we justify that. That's why I say the Matrix is trying to destroy community and lineage, because it literally gives you a platform to contrast and judge your parents. When I was brought up, it was easy to judge your daddy. Our mothers would talk bad about our daddies in front of us. So we didn't really have a lens to judge a mother. We didn't know if a mother was doing bad or wasn't doing up to par, because we didn't have a lens. But we always had a lens to judge our daddy, our fathers, right? And that's sad, because do you know what a father goes through whenever his children are calling him out of his name and speaking to him and telling him he ain't good? It destroys him. We live for that. Just like a child lives to be told that they're amazing and loved by their daddy. We live to be told that we are amazing and loved and appreciated by our children. You're breaking covenant whenever you have the child disrespect and dishonor the father. Do you understand? A mother should work diligently so the child does not do that, not encourage that. A father should work diligently so that the child can love their mother and respect their mother without looking at them through a lens, believing they can judge them. You're a child. It's not your place to judge an adult at all. But we grow up speaking on adults' decisions and everything. We don't realize, we're the problem. You see what I'm saying? It's very fearful to believe you can raise a child, love it with your whole heart, and it'll grow up and just turn on you and tell you all the stuff you did to give them a good life actually was bad. And then they'll judge you as if you wasn't trying. They'll tell you as a parent, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and literally say it to you in a way like you wasn't trying. And I don't think any parent ever said, I know a good decision, but I'm going to make a bad one for my kid. Like, they are who they are. All you can be is who you are at the time. I wish our children would grow up and say, you know what? I love you. I accept you. All of that. Just like they don't want us to do that to them. You know what I'm saying? Kat, do you have any final thoughts until next week when we have our build again? I really just need to say that because I wanted people to know that this is not about destroying what they currently believe in. It's more about giving you a way to manifest the current way you believe. It's not doing that. And you would have already asked questions to yourself. You would have already said, okay, I paid tithe, I prayed about it, and it still didn't happen. Is there another way to manifest my dreams? Do I have to wait on God? I just believe that if you really dial in, see a new way to create your life. But anyway, that being said, Kat, give them some words if you don't mind before we get out.
So two things. One person is saying, how was the universe created? I guess by us calling ourselves gods. And my answer to that would be that no one knows how the universe was created. Nobody was there. However, we are a part of the creation, or the creator. We are part of that source that just decided to explode, or those sources, because we don't know. Nobody knows. We weren't there. Until we return back to it, huh?
It's a very human question.
Yeah.
It's a very human question. Who created the universe? It assumes there is a who. It assumes the universe is created. It assumes there is a universe.
So yeah, that's how I would answer that. No, none of us were there, but we know that we are a part of it because we are part of this world. We are everything. I am you, you are me in a different time and space. I am the trees, I am the grass, I am the sky, I am space, I am darkness, I am light, I am everything. And to the one, I think it was Deanna, she said she lost her dad. What happens after death? Will she ever see him again? Energy can only be transferred. Energy can never die. So it all depends on how you want to interact with it. For instance, when I knew that when my grandma walked this earth, my grandma loved water. My grandma loved to go out in the sunshine. When she passed away, her funeral was on a sunny day, something that she would enjoy. So for me to feel closer to her, I'll go outside and I drink water, and a wind will come out of nowhere. And I know that that's her letting me know that she is around me. She is near. I believe that energy transfers when we lose a loved one. Some of them goes into us, as well. So it all depends on what you believe. I can show you a little bit. That's like my altar over there. So I give honor to my ancestors on a daily basis. Am I worshiping them? I am not. But I am letting them know, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for getting me here. Thank you for watching me in the spiritual realm. Thank you. I honor you. I reverence you. I will continue to do what I need to do to help us get to another level, to help the next generation behind me. And I pour my liquid libations, and I light my candles, and I light my incense, and I sing my songs, and I make sure some fresh flowers are up there just to give them honor and reverence. So I talk to my ancestors and people who I lost daily, And then I like that when I'm lighting and I'm telling them, hey, I like that incense or that candle, and I tell them, hey, if you're stuck on this spiritual realm, if you're stuck and you don't want to be here, it's okay to go to the light. Because a lot of times when we lose loved ones, they are walking around, especially if they hear me. I'm getting called, especially if they die tragically. If they die tragically, they're ghosts walking around and they need direction. And they're probably trying to communicate and talk to you and tell you, hey, I don't know why you can't hear me. I don't know what happened. I was just alive. You have to say it's okay to go to the light, because they might be sitting here lingering. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm getting calls, wondering what's going on, and you have to lead them. You can converse with any ancestor at any time. Yeah.
You still get called.
Yeah. But hopefully that helped. And yes, red cardinals are a sign that they are near you. And it could be a cat. For instance, I'll say this. The other night I was in one of my ceremonies, in my definition of time in prayer, a certain type of prayer, just talking to the ancestors, and all of a sudden there was a cat. I heard a cat, like, and it distracted me at first, and I was like, okay, where's that coming from? And so I kept going and kept going, and then the cat meow, and so I said, okay, wait a minute, maybe this is them answering me back. So I said, come on, and I kept doing what I was doing. The cat came and started going around my leg and rubbing. And if you study if you study, we're taught that black cats are bad, but if you study the Maneki Neko, the Japanese cat, it's the cat that y'all see waving in the restaurants. It was because an older woman, the story is an older woman would feed a stray cat, and eventually that cat left something for her. So when I was praying, that cat came, and to me that was a symbol of saying it's already done. You know, it was a symbol of my ancestors answering me, you know. So we have to, it might not come in the presence of a hug, or it might be a hug from a stranger that, oh my gosh, that hug felt so familiar. You know, that's why they say be kind to strangers. You never know when you're entertaining an angel, you know. But that's another topic. That's another topic. We can go more in depth on that some more next Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely very beautiful too. And I use animals and all that a lot too in my daily kind of like prayer life. I have different meanings and things like that I attach to different animals. If I see them, I look at it like that's the universe kind of showing me that animal so I can get this certain message at this time. The same way as like you look on a clock and break the numbers down to numerology and have a meaning for it and things like that. I believe whatever you see, it was meant for you to see it at that time. And if you be aware, there's messages of God that's constantly coming across your radar if you would just pay attention. You know what I mean? My version of the answer to that question is who created the universe is we did. And we are constantly still in the business of creating the universe. Every time you break down light into your eyes, you are creating the universe. So we absolutely are the ones creating the universe because we are the ones that's in it. You understand? So you have to say who is it made up of? That's who you would put it on. So you're looking at the fact that there is life and you're saying, well, what's the reason for that? The fact that there is life, family. I always say that's assuming. It's not wise to, again, live in your mind and assume. It's better to just do. You know what I mean? So if I sit here and I say, well, who created the world and where did it come from and who created the person who created the world? What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that does not help you manifest in life. You have to move past that into the doing. The doing is all you need, family. Imagine me saying, I'm going to get up and get a glass of water. I'm going to get up and get a glass of water. I'm going to get up and get a glass of water. I can say it a million times and then get up and go get a glass of water. Would you guys say me saying it had anything to do with me getting a glass of water? No, you would say you had to get up and get it, right? I could say I want to get a glass glass of water, but I don't know if the people who live here is okay with that. Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to get up and get it. All that is just talk, and it doesn't get me a glass of water. That's why I say live in the doing. A God does. You don't see in the Bible where God second guesses itself or questions before it moves. It simply moves and it enjoys life. Life is a place for you to create, family. Get out of your head and see how beautiful you are by painting that life and seeing what you leave behind. You have no clue what you are made of. You have no clue what gifts are inside of you. The only way that you can access them, though, is to pour into yourself and pull them out of you. They're not just going to jump out of you. If you are the right brothers, you must know there's an airplane inside of you. And that airplane will exist through trial and error. And most of what creates your airplane is the due diligence that you put into learning how to fly. This means you have to study. You have to understand what drag is and what being aerodynamic is and why birds have wings. And when you do all of that and you say creation is simply eliminating problems. It's simple. I have a problem. Something probably I likely don't have in my life. So how do I eliminate that problem? If you were to start eliminating the problems in your life, you will find that you are creating. That's how you get what you want. Do you know that? Creation is simply eliminating problems. Ain't that crazy? It's not so profound. If I say, what's the problems in my life? What's keeping me from here? If you correct those things, you'll have what you want. Why am I not in shape? Well, I don't work out every day. I don't eat right. Well, if you fix those problems, the better version of you is behind self-correcting, correct? So we got to have the eyes of God in order to reflect. So, some people can't do that. Some people simply don't know how to reflect, how to look back on their decisions and draw from them and say, that wasn't a wise decision. So you have to be at a higher level of awareness just to be able to reflect. So I'm saying it's much God as you have awakened inside of you, because that's God. Jesus is God, God as a man elevating to God in consciousness. So you are Jesus. You are God in the flesh. The more you become aware is the more you awaken the God in you. You can accomplish being 100% God and 100% man in this life form, but you got to be able to accept that this is ability that is yours. You can do this. Jesus isn't separate from you. Neither is Krishna. Neither is Buddha. You are every one of them. They were just humans who tapped into a higher version of themselves, God. And they were able to put hands on people and heal them, speak life into people and heal them, give sight to the blind by enlightening them with information they didn't already have, give knowledge to the dumb by speaking into people perspectives they didn't already have. And those perspectives changed their life. I have healed people with a sentence, family. And because of that sentence I said to them, their life was corrected and changed. I know I'm a healer. I know I've resurrected myself into being a Christ consciousness being, someone who can look out at the world and see changes that need to be done and speak to them. Not everybody can do that. And you have to have some level of awareness to be able to do that. That's what Christ consciousness is. Please know that you all have the ability to do that and tap into that. The answers to your questions are really there. They just don't exist in someone else. Only you can answer those questions. So have faith in God, believe in self, and make being your best self your new religion. The same way you woke up every day and prayed to a God outside of you, the same way you went to church and you worshiped with people who thought like you, had families of people who thought like you and had rituals. The same way you did that to get closer to your God, do that to make yourself a better version of yourself daily, like as if it's a religion. Do it seriously every single day and watch who you will be. I promise you, you ain't gonna be sitting here saying, dang, I didn't get out of it what I wanted. You'll be in shape, your mind will be clearer, you will be healthier. And when you do that and sharpen your mind, ideas get sharper. You understand? Laziness is not a factor anymore, because a lot of times that's what's killing us is sheer laziness. If I tell myself in the rise, I'm gonna get up and do this thing. Well, in the rise, I make excuses for not getting up and doing that thing. Well, that thing ain't gonna get done. You see? I think I was telling Kat, I was like, the things that's for you, that truly are for you, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you won't have them. You know, so just like time is going, regardless of whether we move, the hours are still going by. So if I'm lazy or not, night will still come, right? And then the sun will come again, even if I'm lazy. Well, your dreams are not like that. Yeah, Monday will eventually come, even if you do nothing, but your dreams won't. So that's why I say don't be lazy, because you don't want Monday to come and your dreams are still in the future, right? You don't want to be holding your dreams back because you're not doing something, because it's doing that makes your day, makes your dreams come true. You see what I'm saying? That doing. That's why I say it's in due time. Like not D-U-E time, it's in due time. When you do it, it will be time. So all of you guys saying, when is my time to shine? When am I going to have what I want in life? When you do. Believe it or not, it's when you decide to do. Until then, you won't have it. Now, y'all can challenge me on that all you want to, and I challenge you to challenge me on that. Pray about your dreams and don't do nothing to make them happen, and see if God grants you your dreams. Now, I'm going to challenge you again. That when you get tired of praying for it and it don't come, stop praying for it and get up and do what it takes to get it. And tell me if you get it. And then you tell me if it's words or doing. And then we can have a conversation. But until then, family, you're going to be on the outside looking in at my understanding, not understanding why we think this way. Kween Katt and I have put this to the test. We know that God is faithful because we know how to use God. We know how to tap into God, which is true self. This is not like some type of spooky thing, right? So that's why I encourage you guys, make sure you get the book. Make sure you come to the event so you can build with like-minded people. Because there's so much work that needs to be done. And let's take this knowledge back to our communities, family, and work to make our communities better. Let's be Jesus's. Let's do that. Let's be, do you want to, like you say, I love this Jesus. I love him. Then be him. This is what I keep saying. I always say as a Christian, preach Jesus every time, every second of the day, and only when necessary, use words. How do you tell people that you are a believer? How do you tell people you are a child of God without using words? Family, you got to do. Every one of us should be responsible enough that we are taking an active approach to cleaning up our communities. We should be speaking to negative things that we know don't make our community better. We should be. Let that show, family, and I promise you, you will have a better community. You will. It's only if you take the time to fix it, though. And to do that, you got to start with self. Like Michael Jackson said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And I'm going to ask him to change his ways. Because if I do that, the world itself will be changed. At least my world will. We know if Kween Katt went into her home and poured herself into what fixes her life, and every one of us did that alone and didn't judge nobody else, the world would be better. So what's behind making the world a better place? Self-awareness, self-reflection, and us changing our own individual ways. I promise you, that's what makes the world better.
And to end it with scripture, I know they mad. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, seek my face and return from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and I will heal the land. Land. You are land. When you go into court, which is the Bible's book of law, you go into court, I am the living flesh and blood. If you go in saying that I am this fictitious person, that all capitalized name, they're going to swallow you up. But if you come in and say that I am the living flesh and blood, I am the land, then you're on another level. They can't do too much to you. Because the living being has the right to do as they please. When the other being, that fictitious person, that all caps name, is a monster that they created. But that's a different topic for a different day.
Absolutely. But needed all the same, and we're going to get to all of that, okay? So family, I want you guys to be encouraged to stay tuned till next week. Whenever we go live again, we'll do this every single week because we want to be able to pour into you guys, hear what you guys are saying. Next week, whenever we end, we'll bring a few of you callers on so you guys can tell us kind of what you're receiving from it. If you have woke up from religion, or if you're trying to redo your path and reinvent yourself, we'll be able to hear from you guys on the next time. So guys, get ready, okay? At 9 o'clock next Sunday, we'll be doing this again, and we look forward to seeing y'all. Thank you so much, Kween Katt, for working with me in this book, for working with me on the events. We have a great work ahead of us, okay? And we've made so much headway. We've made so much way in terms of leading people and waking them up to different things that make them more enlightened. And I'm just excited about what we have to do going forward. So thank you again for today, and I look forward to getting with you again on next Sunday. You hear me, love? Can you hear me? No? Okay. Her sound must have. You can't? No? It's cool. It's cool. I was getting off anyway. All right, love. I'll see y'all next time, family, okay? I will be going live throughout this week on some more of those relationship type topics. I look forward to hearing y'all. That was dope yesterday, that deal was, family. So in the meantime, look in the link, look in the comments for the link so you can go ahead and pre-order the book. It is life-changing, okay? And go ahead and get your tickets for the 27th in Monk's Corner, all right, if y'all can hear me. Other than that, I ain't gonna talk long. I love y'all. Peace.